Hey, before we get started with the show, here's a quick announcement for you. As you may know, Dan and I are going to be doing a presentation at the upcoming Conference on Death, Grief, and Belief in Portland. And if you can't get there in person, we just found out that you can purchase a video of our talk. To get the recording, go to www.atheistafterparty.com and you'll see a link for it. And if you happen to be in the vicinity of Portland, come join us in person. All the info is at atheistafterparty.com. And now the show.
Hi, friends. Well, from very hot Salt Lake City, Utah,
It's Thank God I'm Atheist.
the podcast.
I'm Frank Feldman.
And I'm Dan Beecher.
And coming up on the show today, Dan, CERN, that's the big...
The Large Hadron Collider.
Hadron Collider thing over in Europe. It's back in action again, about to ruin the world.
It's literally going to destroy the world. It's going to... It might bring about the apocalypse of Revelation. We don't know.
Isn't it the thing that put us on this wrong timeline?
Yeah.
I'm starting to I've heard something about that, and I'm on board.
There are many conspiracy theories.
Yeah.
Some of them may or may not be true. We don't know. But we're going to explore it. We'll get it figured out by the end of the show.
But anything that can put me back on the timeline that I was on before this one.
Things were
that's
going
what I
well.
want.
And then a boson ruined everything.
Yeah, I mean, the arc of history was still leaning toward justice, where I was. So, fuck this shit. All right. Well, Dan.
Yeah.
You're going to be concerned about this, I think, Dan. There is a cafe in the UK in a place called Whaley Bridge.
Okay.
Have you ever heard of Whaley Bridge? Called the Bridge Bakehouse.
Okay.
They offer freshly baked, handmade goodies, including cakes, pastries, sandwiches, and they enjoy a good pun when naming their product.
Oh, sure.
And they've got a whole bunch of them. They have a sandwich called the Don't Go Bacon My Heart.
Oh, yeah.
Are You Chicken Me Out?
Here's what I want to know.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, there's bacon on Don't Go Bacon My Heart, but is there heart? Because there should be. It should be a heart and bacon sandwich.
Well, anyway, Dan, that would be disgusting. What they do have is a sandwich called the Jesus Christ.
Yes.
Which has sparked the ire of some locals there in Whaley Bridge. They had a little menu outside so that people before entering could see what they have to offer, right?
Yeah.
Somebody whited out the Jesus Christ sandwich from the menu. Just whited it out, Dan.
Oh.
And
mean.
in addition, sent them a letter, or maybe it was posted. They might have posted the letter on the door.
Like Martin Luther himself.
They're following his example. The letter said, "Our members have instructed us to write you to ask you to remove the sandwich named Jesus Christ from your menu. Although our clients would prefer to settle this matter out of the courts, there is likely a case to answer here. Everyone in the United Kingdom has the right to their beliefs without fear of discrimination. It is a basic human right that all institutions, including bakeries, have a duty to abide by and protect." It goes on to say that it's an insult to the sandwich. It was an insult to Christianity.
Oh my God.
And they listed 4 steps that the bakery could take in order to avoid seeing them in court.
Oh.
They need to, 1, issue a public apology on all of the cafe's platforms, social media, website, etc., within 5 working days.
Oh, wow.
Of the date of the letter.
Yeah.
They must remove the sandwich name and all mentions of it from the cafe's menu within 10 days. They have to remove any mention of the name Jesus Christ from the sign standing on the Whaley Bridge Parish within 30 days.
Right.
And they need to make a 300-pound donation to the Holy Trinity Church within 30 working days.
Did the author of this letter explain who they think we is?
You mean who's going to be doing the suing?
Who are they claiming they are?
Well,
because I guarantee you it's just a guy. It's not
It turns out it probably is. They were definitely pointing them to the direction of the Holy Trinity Church by suggesting that they make the donation there.
Right.
There was a group called Christian Concern that everybody thought it was. Maybe they claimed responsibility or something, as groups do in these instances. But no, apparently it wasn't them either. They're still trying to figure it out.
It's just a guy. And I'll tell you what else too.
What?
If this little cafe doesn't create a 12-foot banner that says "Home of the Jesus Christ" and put that up, and then underneath that just write "So sue me" or whatever.
Yeah,
they are doing it wrong.
Exactly. And it sounds like a delicious sandwich.
Also, they need to add to the menu the "Oh my cod" sandwich. They need to add, they need to lean into this heavily. There needs to be like the
fishes of men.
Yeah, exactly. The Father, Son, and the holy shit, that's good pastrami.
Or the holy crust.
Yeah, exactly.
The Jesus Christ it's a sandwich with caramelized onion chutney, mature cheddar, and mozzarella cheese. Sounds delicious. I'd order that.
Toasted, I imagine?
Sure.
It better be. Otherwise, look, I love cheese, but cheese doesn't really hit its stride until you melt it. So
it sounds, it would have to be a melted cheese sandwich.
It would have to be.
Yeah,
it would have to be.
They'd be fools.
It's got to be a grilled panini or something. Anyway, all right. Well, I wish them good luck with, and I hope they do get sued. That sounds delightful.
Oh, I would love it because their little religious feelings are hurt. I love those laws.
Yeah. All right. Well, so speaking of law, listeners to our show may have heard of a thing called the Supreme Court of the United States of America.
Unfortunately,
a failed institution, but there nonetheless. I didn't think that it would be you'd ever be able to look at the Supreme Court of the United States and think, well, that's just a shit show. But there it is. Anyway, there was an interesting incident reported in Rolling Stone this week that occurred where a conservative YouTuber was live streaming out in front of the SCOTUS building, the Supreme Court building, and happened to be talking to a Christian nationalist named Peggy Nienaber, who's executive director of a group called Christian Group Liberty Council. Or she's director of a DC ministry, which is an extension of Christian Group Liberty Council, which is of course a very conservative group.
It sounds like it.
And they have and her little ministry has an office right behind the Supreme Court building. They are there to do activist Christian work. They are conservative Christian activists. And this woman, not knowing that she was being recorded, as she talked to this YouTuber, she very clearly said that she has prayed with and prays with Supreme Court justices.
Oh.
Now, considering the fact that the Supreme Court listed or name checked their amicus brief, this organization's amicus brief,
Oh,
in their Dobbs ruling that overturned Roe v. Wade,
yeah.
the thought that that Supreme Court justices are cozy enough with their people to be praying with them is as close to absolutely inappropriate and should have recused themselves probably as you can get. They did this woman didn't name the justices that she claimed she prayed with. When they reached the organization,
guess a couple names.
What's that?
Oh, a couple names come to mind.
Yeah. We don't have to guess which. It's not Sonia Sotomayor. That's one we know. Anyway, the Liberty Counsel founder denied that in-person ministering was happening, but then didn't have an explanation for why this woman was saying
now that she's
off
a
the
liar.
record. She literally said the words, "This is off the record," not knowing that she was being recorded. So, yeah, they're liars. Obviously, they're just liars. All of them, including the Supreme Court justices, who were not reached for. Obviously, Rolling Stone reached out to them, but they declined to answer.
Yeah,
because they don't answer to anybody. Because SCOTUS,
it's rough, except for God, Dan. They answer to God.
They decidedly do not. They decidedly do not.
Well, in their heads, they're ruining this country while answering to God.
Ruining it for Jesus. For Jesus Christ.
Yeah. All right.
Well, that's fun.
Well, Dan.
Yeah.
Once again, Pope Francis, he's at it.
Uh-oh.
He's opening his mouth. He's saying things.
I mean.
And they're fun things.
Yeah.
Well, maybe. You might enjoy this. Apparently, this last week, he was asked about abortion. Right.
Sure.
Because that's a hot topic right now.
Yeah.
I wonder why they thought to ask. Anyway, he in somewhere in his response to the question about abortion, he compared abortion to, quote, hiring a hitman. Apparently this is not the first time he's made the comparison, but he says, I ask, is it legitimate? Is it right to eliminate a human life to resolve a problem? Wow. Hiring a hitman.
Hiring a hitman.
Yeah, just like
yeah.
The medical procedure that in some cases used to save the life of the person carrying this baby, right? Or fetus, I should say. That sounds like hiring a hitman.
It's like hiring a hitman who happens to have a medical degree and is board certified.
Trained in the procedure
to provide medical care.
Yeah, exactly the same.
Can I just say that getting prostate surgery is like hiring a hitman in the same way.
Yeah, to take care of that prostate. Yeah, apparently the first time he is sort of on record making this comparison was back in 2019. But at the same time, this is bizarro. He said that his opposition to abortion wasn't a religious issue. Do you remember him saying this?
What?
He said, but he says it's not a religious issue, but a human one. Right?
No.
And
I'll tell you what, his opposition to abortion isn't a religious issue. It's an 85-year-old virgin issue. You don't know anything about this stuff. Just shut up about it. You don't have you shouldn't be in this conversation.
You're assuming he's a virgin.
Well, he's supposed to be a virgin, and that's good enough for me.
Yeah, there you go. Let's see. Let's see. That's not even worth reading. Apparently though, and this is really weird because I mean, if you're to take him at his word that he doesn't see it as a religious issue, it kind of explains the fact that he has also previously expressed sympathy for women who have chosen or needed, I'm adding needed, to get them. And apparently he's also made it easier to be absolved of the sin, quote unquote, sin of abortion.
He's a very confused pope.
You cannot figure him out. When you think you know who Pope Francis is.
Yeah.
I mean, he's Catholic and he's conservative. And so that's probably where he's going to land. Right. But then he sort of confounds you with this stuff that like isn't as Catholic as you would expect sometimes.
And then he busts out the hitman analogy.
Yeah. And then you're just like, fuck, come on, Francis.
Oh, man.
Come on.
There were rumors that he was wanting to retire, that he was wanting to quit.
I heard that. And then he said no.
He denied them.
Could you imagine 2 retired popes?
It would be the new thing.
It would be. They just have this club.
Yeah. Just when you get bored with it, which you would, you just leave.
Yeah, because all the good trappings of popedom are gone. You don't have your own. I mean, yeah, okay, you're the head of state of like over like 200 people, right? But you don't have like, you know, all the papal states or whatever they called them. You don't control vast swaths of land and people, right? It's not as cool as it used to be.
It's all just bad. There's no good. And he's not being the Pope anymore.
Yeah, he and Francis is on record as to not enjoying the trappings of being Pope like Benedict did. Right?
Yeah, he's not even wearing the designer slippers.
No, yeah, and he wants to just sort of stay in a humble apartment, right? Instead of like the grand, luxurious one.
He's ruining the popedom for everybody.
Yeah,
just get out.
Everybody after him is going to look bad. You know, how do you come in and be another Prada slipper wearing, you know, champagne sipping Pope?
Here's what you hope. You just hope that Benedict is still alive when Francis dies, and then you can just piggyback off of him again.
Does he just become Pope again at that point?
No, but his presence still looms, and then you can just be like, oh well, he's still. Look at his shoes.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Anyway, well, so I'm going to take us to Saudi Arabia, where
please don't.
Where in Saudi Arabia, I looked it up. COVID numbers are low. So that's good.
Okay.
It's not a hot spot. That may change this week as 1 million Muslims descend on it for the Hajj. As anyone who's seen any like photos or video footage of the Hajj knows, they're not social distancing.
Yeah.
This is the first sort of quasi full Hajj since COVID came out. And they seem to be throwing caution to the wind, at least among each other. They have cut back. I mean, normally pre-pandemic, they were doing 2.5 million people, and they're only allowing 1 million in to this tiny little town.
Is it like Mecca. A lottery system? Like, how are they?
I don't know. Probably just the wealthy ones. I have no idea how you get the ticket, but
drawing some kind.
All of them are. They do have to be fully vaccinated and have a negative COVID test to get in, and they're all between 18 and 65 years old.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
So they are taking some precautions, but you know what? This new strain doesn't seem to be, I don't know.
Doesn't really care about your precautions.
I don't think I'd do it. I'll say that much.
Oh, you referenced the video. Yeah, I've seen that video too. I would never do it. It looks like the worst possible event in the world.
Oh yeah.
It's wretched.
Yeah.
And then when it's like in the middle of fucking summer in Saudi Arabia and you're having to like, no way, wear those robes and walk around rocks and throw rocks at pillars that represent Satan and be
I don't know,
stuck in weird hallways and all they've got are like ceiling fans everywhere for some reason. No way.
They are taking other precautions. They're not letting them drink directly out of the well or whatever it is. They're distributing, I think it's bottled
well water,
holy well water, whatever that is.
You have to drink it there. You can't take this home.
Yeah. You're real close to where this came from. So it counts for God. You get 200 feet more that way and it's not going to count. So
Allah's pretty fussy about like which direction you stand when you poo.
Yeah.
But yeah, just have this water. It's fine.
It's so dumb. Yeah. So there you go. I'm guessing that the COVID numbers go up in Saudi after this.
They should just cordon off that entire region. No one in, no one out.
Right?
For like 2 weeks.
Yeah. I mean, these people are paying a lot to be there anyway.
Yeah. Like the whole thing should just be like a big open quarantine, right?
Right.
But you have to be in it, and that's that. And we're just gonna let it burn out. However long that takes, this thing's just gonna burn out.
Yeah. And the thing about it is that there are big wealth gaps at this event. You saw the thing. There are people like sleeping on the street.
Yeah.
In tents or just in sleeping bags.
And not staying in the Ayasaran 5-star hotel.
Yeah, there are hotels that are like $300 or $3,000 a night. But you get to overlook the Kaaba. You get to actually like you're seeing the mayhem from your hotel window.
Right.
That's the good stuff right there.
And you get the concierge to find a good time that's not too busy.
Yeah.
For you to walk around the Kaaba.
Right. I'm sure someone escorts you to the good spot. They give you a robot to do the pilgrimage around the Kaaba for you. You just watch it on an iPad.
Why not? Yeah, VR, man. Just like put on your headset.
There you go. Get your Oculus going.
Yeah,
it's the same.
Be fun.
Allah knows.
He knows everything. All right, Dan. This is a topic that has come up a couple times before on the show, and it feels like there's been a little bit of a development.
Okay.
With regards to prisoners on Texas's death row. These are murderers, right? Who have been found guilty, or people who have been found guilty of murder. Let's say it that way.
It's in Texas.
Not necessarily murderers.
It's very clear that they may not be murderers. That has happened plenty of times.
Yeah. So, but people waiting to be executed by the state for crimes committed. And these folks having religious requests for their execution.
Sure.
Well, a federal court has just found for Ramiro Gonzalez, who's scheduled to be executed July 13th. Let's see. He was accused of and found guilty of fatally shooting 18-year-old Bridget Townsend back in 2001. He's asked that when he's executed, his spiritual advisor be allowed in the death chamber so she can pray aloud, hold his hand, and place her other hand on his chest. According to the court documents that he filed last month, he said, receiving God's touch is a sacred concept in the Bible, and even the lepers were touched by God. This physical contact I have requested is vitally important to me as I'm making my spiritual transition into the paradise of God.
Presumably he's not going to be executed by electric chair.
No, he is to be injected with lethal drugs, cocktail of lethal drugs. So the judge is saying and is ordering the Texas Department of Criminal Justice to allow this person to be in there and to be in contact with him.
Huh.
And I mean, we've sort of, I have said things on the show like, good that there's like, or that these people can have a little ounce of peace or something when the state is taking their life, right? Which is something that I find abhorrent, and I do not think the state should have the authority to do.
Right.
And this issue is a perplexing one, I think,
Right.
for us in particular as atheists, because I know I wouldn't be allowed in that scenario, right?
Yeah.
I would never be in that scenario, but putting myself in that scenario, I know as an atheist, I wouldn't get that courtesy.
No,
right?
they would
The courts
grant
would
us
not.
no comforts.
No comforts whatsoever. But then on top of it, I guess because I find it so abhorrent, anything that pisses off these stupid executioners, right? I'm all for. I think this is great. I think the judge made probably the wrong decision, but I'm all for it.
But to the right effect.
But to the right effect, I'm happy. I'm cool with that. I don't know if we need to get into the crime that he committed. It is heinous, right? And it does complicate things because while I definitely don't, like I said, I don't think the state should be able to kill people. He did really, really awful things. This woman was not just, he didn't just kill her.
Right.
He kidnapped her, took her to his family's ranch where he sexually assaulted her, then killed her. And he led authorities to her remains after he received 2 life sentences for kidnapping and raping another woman.
Yeah.
Like, this is a bad dude. I actually don't want him to have any comfort, right? But at the same time, what do you do with that?
Yeah.
Because
and the thing is that, like, you've got these presumably Christian people running the prison system, running the execution, whatever. And that's you guys' thing. Like, Jesus was all about, like, your whole shit is supposed to be about forgiveness and about like mercy and all this stuff. Yeah. You should be on board with this. But I don't want to be. Yeah. I don't want anything to do with any of it.
Yeah. I don't know how anybody's not uncomfortable with the like, aside from just the morality involved here, right? Of just saying, like, you shouldn't be killing anyone, right?
Right.
But for the state to retain that authority, that power, that doesn't sit well with me.
Yeah. Well, all right. I'm going to close this off in the state, the United States, our country version of Georgia. I was trying to differentiate from the country, Georgia.
Oh, okay.
This is the trick. There is another place called Georgia.
Oh, in the world.
In the world. So I was trying to unsuccessfully say in Georgia, here in these United States, well done. Near the town of Elberton, Georgia.
Beautiful Elberton.
Everyone loves Elberton. They're in Elbert County. There was a monument that I have sort of known about for a while now. We talked about it one time on How to Heretic, called the Georgia Guidestones. Have you ever heard of the Georgia Guidestones before now?
Yeah, we've talked about it on this show as well.
Oh, have we? Okay.
Yeah.
The Georgia Guidestones, they are a super goofball thing. These giant stone monuments, 19 feet tall, with that somebody paid for and had built. A person calling himself Robert Christian or something. It was obviously a pseudonym.
Right.
But also obviously a nod to his own actual religion, which was Christianity. That didn't stop other Christians from immediately assuming that it was some sort of satanic thing, which is hilarious. They were inscribed with a bunch of things about, like, I guess it's their prescription for a good life. I mean, this was built in 1979 and sort of like revealed in 1980. So, the sort of Cold War era, maybe they thought that there are those who assume that they thought that the war was, or that, nuclear holocaust was going to happen. And this would be a guidepost for how to do humanity in the future. They have 10, I don't know what they'd call them, ideas.
Suggestions.
For suggestions. Sure. The 10 suggestions. That's a famous thing. They're dumb. There's a few of them that I like. There's one that says, rule passion, faith, tradition, and all things with tempered reason. Okay. I think reason is good.
Tempered reason.
Tempered reason.
Not just full out reason.
Yeah.
Must be tempered.
And they also say prize truth, beauty, love, seeking harmony with the infinite. Whatever the fuck that means. Then it gets like a little uncomfortably eugenicsy with their first one is maintain humanity under 500 million in perpetual balance with nature. How are you proposing to do that? Are you proposing to kill all the billions of people that aren't in that 500,000, or are you assuming that the nuclear holocaust has happened?
Probably did a lot of the work for them.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
We're assuming that it's already dropped below that. Let's just not go over. Don't know how they're proposing to keep that.
It's not a bad idea. I mean, you point out a good thing, which is how do you enforce it?
Yeah.
But I mean, we know there's just too many of us.
And then there was another one that was even eugenicier, which was guide reproduction wisely, improving fitness and diversity, which
yeesh.
Yeah.
That one,
yikes.
yeah, that one is eugenics. The other one is just like, you could also just be like, hey, this year we're not having any kids.
Yeah.
Everybody.
Right. Americans take so well to that kind of direction. Anyway,
we're assuming there are no Americans in this world. The
Guidestones in Georgia.
I know, but they've been discovered by some wanderers from somewhere else.
Yeah,
because nuclear holocaust.
And also they did very kindly go out of their way to post all these in a whole bunch of different languages.
Oh yeah,
including they wrote stuff in like ancient Babylonian cuneiform and
just in case, Dan. You don't know who's gonna find these things.
It's literally like, and it's absurd. They're very stupid.
What if there was some sort of Babylonian scholar who didn't speak any of the other languages?
It's got so many languages on it. Anyway, it doesn't anymore because someone blew it the fuck up.
What do you mean? Like
literally,
bombed it?
They bombed it.
No.
And here's the thing: there's video of it.
Of it exploding?
Uh-huh.
Oh man.
Yeah, Google it. They really actually the bomb only took out one of the big stone tablets. And the rest of it was still standing. But don't worry, the Georgia state government came in and immediately destroyed the rest of it.
What?
Made
Why?
no effort to preserve it. Just were like, this isn't safe. Done.
No way.
Which, considering how many... Now, I should have mentioned that there are copious conspiracy theories about this. About these stupid things. About how they're satanic and blah, blah, blah. And the second it came up, people were decrying how horrible and awful and they're, New World Order. They were from the New World Order and blah, blah, blah.
Ugh.
Including... There was a Republican candidate for governor. She lost in the primary. She got 3-point-something% of the votes, but she made it like she literally on the campaign trail said she was going to eliminate the Georgia Guidestones. That was one of her stump speech promises when she became the governor.
That just is infuriating to me that somebody could be so dumb. So dumb. I mean, like, these things, whatever, they're weird.
Yeah,
who cares?
They're also on private, or they're also like privately owned. I think.
Yeah.
I think they were given to the county, but like, you're not allowed to just get rid of stuff that you don't like.
Yeah, and who cares? It's like some local weird thing. Right?
Yeah.
You just go and you see it. It's weird. Okay,
embrace it.
Whatever.
It's
fun.
Just, yeah, we'll talk about some of this stuff. Like, I think there's
Lord.
The ding dongs of the world. We will discuss it further at the end of the show. But anyway, you can go visit the Georgia rubble now. because apparently it's all destroyed.
Well, I'm sure they're just going to replace it with a giant 10 Commandments monument now. So.
I'm certain of it. I'm absolutely certain of it.
Oh.
So there you go. If you would like to give us your views on this or anything that we've talked about today, please feel free to write into us. Podcast at thankgodimatheist.com.
Or call and leave us a voicemail message. We'd love to hear from you. The telephone number is 424-666-8442. Stick around, there's more show coming up.
Hey, Frank.
Damn.
Greg Locke went fucking crazy for his sermon this week.
Crazy-er?
Just, here's the thing. There is pastor on pastor violence in the clip that we are about to listen to.
What?
And I am here for it.
Okay.
We've talked about all of the people that he's going to reference on the show many times. He's talking about pastors that he's probably just jealous of because they make so much more money than he does. But
yeah, of course.
Holy shit. Here, I'm just going to play it. It's good.
Full-blown demon-possessed Satan worshipers like Kenneth Copeland, the most powerful pastor in America. He's a demon and he's going to hell, and you tell him I said so. I'm about to kick his pulpit over and preach wide slam open tonight. That low-down, sorry sex trafficking rapist. I wish to God he would take me to court. I wish to God that demon would take me to court. I'll show the pictures I've got. You ever send another dime to that low-down, sorry pedophile? I pray God curses your finances. I'm sick of these demon-worshiping pastors like Joel Osteen. Look, I'm just going to say it tonight. I don't care what the news media says. Joel Osteen ain't going to sue Greg Locke. I wished you would. Dude's worth so many millions of dollars, it's ridiculous. Why don't they sue the hillbilly preacher? I'll tell you why. Because he knows I'm right. I'm going to call them all out when I have to. He said, oh my goodness, you mean to tell me that Joel Osteen, he's that way with women? No, I'm here to tell you Joel Osteen's that way with boys. By the way, you ever heard of a dead man switch? Well, just in case they come and try to suicide me, I got one of them. Let them chase me down. Huh? It'll all go on the internet. Every last drop of it. Tom Hanks, Oprah, and all them pedophiles. Whew. Okay.
Tom Hanks, Oprah, and all of them pedophiles, Frank. They're all going down because Greg Locke's got all the stuff.
This guy. How?
Somebody's got to sue him. He's got to get sued over this, right? Joel Osteen can't just let somebody call him a pedophile, accuse him of pedophilia, can he?
I mean, they're probably following the, age-old wisdom of just don't acknowledge it. You give it more. You give the accusation more headlines. Like who heard about this week, right? Right? Like, okay, we did, and now all y'all have listened to it too. But but honestly, I mean, this stuff doesn't have that much of a reach. I guess it was on like him at Meta's website, right?
Yeah.
So it has quite a bit of reach, but like only because it's anyway.
Yeah,
but it's not
you're right.
going.
You absolutely don't.
TMZ is not picking this up. It's not going to be in the New York Times, right?
But if you're Joel Osteen or if you're Kenneth Copeland, and this guy is just egging you on, you could squash him like a bug.
You don't take like their they're going to be savvy enough to know not to take the bait.
Yeah.
Because
I just wish they would. You'd want to. That's all I'm saying.
I think it would be delightful if they took the bait.
Yeah.
I would love to see Kenneth Copeland or Joel Osteen somehow respond to this.
Oh,
like that would be epic.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, Tom Hanks and Oprah are just too big and would never go near it. But
no. But now I really want some muckraking reporter to get to Osteen or Copeland and just be like, "What do you think of this? He's calling you. Are you in fact a pedophile? Can you go on record on that?" He has a dead man
switch. What happens? What kind of stuff is hitting the internet? This guy's so fucking full of shit, and he knows it. It just makes me fucking crazy.
The question is, how does his congregation not see how full of shit he is? Or do they just like it?
I think they like it. You hear them kind of saying they're kind of cheering after some of these things.
Yeah, they got a little quiet for a second there.
There was some when he's like, "Don't you dare donate to Joel Osteen or whatever, send money to Joel Osteen or whomever he was talking about."
Copeland, yeah.
And they're all like, "Oh shit, I did that."
Or they're like, he's really being mean to these guys. Is this okay?
Oh, they're fine with him being mean. That seems on brand, right? It's
but to
he's
pastors?
Accused them of a sin, right?
Yeah.
That they know they're all guilty of.
Yeah. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah. Because isn't it supposed to be one big tent?
Right.
Kenneth Copeland. The guy is obviously transparently evil.
Yeah.
He's clearly a lizard person. Not because of any conspiracy theory, but just because if there's not a lizard under there, I don't know what is.
Yeah. That unnaturally colored hair.
Yeah.
And just weird ass old guy face. All right. We had some folks write into us and call into us. We got some friends out there who are corresponding, and we're gonna put it up here. So Larry wrote to us to say, as an Army guy who used to be a Southern Baptist, I hope to clear up one thing. Chaplains, while representing a religious outlook and tradition, are mostly to be used as first-line counselors. I became friends with a Lutheran chaplain and can honestly say he was the best. Any problem, he took on. Financial advice. Anyone who knows, he says in parentheses, anyone who knows them soldiers in their Camaros with 24% interest. First line sexual assault reporting, marriage counseling, etc. In combat stress units, mental health, these are mental health, in parentheses, mental health. One is embedded. When they do their job as a first line counselor, as open to anyone, any religion or not, they are amazing. Evangelicals, he says, have ruined this.
Oh, wow.
I noticed around 2014 that any chaplain that didn't come from a liturgical background was always mad at something. When our fat, always mad white Baptist chaplain left my unit and we obtained a black female Methodist, wow. She enriched the unit and her job helped us who were commanders. Anyway, yes, they can be great, of course. But wouldn't it be so much better if instead of someone who was religious by mandate was actually just an actual counselor?
Yeah, that'd be far better.
Wouldn't that be better? Like, these people don't have any training to do the kind of counseling that you're talking about. Like the training, in terms of like actual knowledge of what's happening in therapy and in psychology right now. These are just people with Jesus training. They may be really good at what they do, but I'd rather have actual trained therapists instead of Jesus people.
Yeah. Seems reasonable, Dan.
Yeah, thank you. This is from Will. Dear Frank and Dan, I watched Keep Sweet, Pray and Obey. Remember, friends, that this was the documentary that we talked about the fundamentalist LDS people, the polygamists.
Yes.
I watched it, and it was even more horrifying than I thought it would be, which is saying a lot.
Yeah.
I have always wondered where the money to run a cult like this would come from, especially one in the middle of nowhere like this one. In the series, they glancingly say that construction laborers are sent out from the cult and that they send all their wages directly back to the cult. But this still seems like it would be a drop in the bucket compared to the size of the community. I'm going to assume that with so many children, there is a lot of reliance on welfare, but still, it seems like there's a disconnect somewhere here.
Well, it's not just that they sent back their wages. The church owned the companies.
Yeah.
Owned the construction companies.
Yep. They literally, like, the way that they worked it, and probably still do, I don't know, but it was literally everybody's wages went to the church. All money went into the church, and the church distributed everything. So,
yeah. But there was sorry, where were you going?
No, I was just going to agree that yes, the welfare thing is heavily relied on.
Yeah.
And they are able to do a lot with it because they're able to say, you know, there are all of these quote unquote wives who are not legally actually married to anybody.
Right.
So they
have no income.
In the system, they count as single mothers with no income.
Yeah.
So they get even more money because of that.
Yeah. Well, and the show did talk about the mechanism that they had to get these companies, right? That like they had the one guy who had a construction company and they like Warren Jeffs commanded him to turn it over. So he'd already built this enterprise outside of the community.
Right.
And then they're like, nope, it's ours now.
That's ours now.
Yep.
He commanded something else be his too, and Dan in the Catskills wrote in to us about it. So I'll just read that as we go on. A quick note about Keep Sweet that when I watched, I was hoping they would make this connection, but they never did. In the film, there was a scene where Warren Jeffs calls the entire community to church and then starts reading out names of men he says betrayed him and the church, and one by one they are exiled without their homes and families, with their wives and children then given to other men. After this, Warren Jeffs becomes all-powerful in the community, and no one dared to question him about anything. Which, yes, that did happen. This is an exact copy of what Saddam Hussein did in 1979. He called the entire Congress and party leadership to an auditorium and then said that some were plotting a coup against him. He read out a list of names one by one, and one by one, these men were ushered out of the auditorium, where about a third were put in front of a firing squad. After this, Saddam became all-powerful, and no one dared question him about anything. So, did Warren Jeffs get this idea from Saddam Hussein, or do autocrats just think alike?
I think things just work.
You know,
if it works, it works.
You go with what works.
Yeah.
Yeah. It is a power move. I'll say that.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure that Warren Jeffs also just sort of knew the history of like Joseph Smith commandeering wives and whatnot.
Yeah.
Not so much kicking the men out, but
well, Joseph was much nicer about it. He would just send the men away on foreign missions.
You're right.
And then they would come back and their wives were magically married to Joseph.
You're right. Yeah. That's funny.
Oh, goodness. Well, we had a caller, did we not?
We do. We have somebody who's seeking our advice.
Oh, that's always a bad idea. All right, I'll just play it.
Sounds good.
Hey, Frank and Dan, longtime listener, somewhat first-time caller. I have an issue and I want your feedback on it, if you don't mind. Just recently, this past week, my father outed me as an atheist on Facebook, to which my whole family can see, my whole religious family. And honestly, I am searing with rage, and I don't know what to do, and I could use any advice you can give me. Thank you, and love the show.
Oh.
Yeah.
That is
sucks.
It's not okay. Let's just start by saying it is not okay to out anybody about any sensitive topic without their permission.
Unless they're a member of Congress and are a hypocrite.
If they're being hypocritical, yeah, I mean, frankly, if it's somebody who has been oppressing a group,
Yeah.
and then you happen to know that they are a member of that group,
Yeah.
you need to out them.
By all means. This is different, though.
But that's
This is very
different.
different.
That's a public figure who's
Yeah.
doing harm.
Yeah.
Yeah, gosh, I don't know, Frank. What are your thoughts? Have you ever been outed in a situation that you did not want to be outed?
No. I don't really recall that ever happening to me. Since I came out as atheist, I mean, that was easy. I never had any problem with that, personally. Even though that it was rough with the family, initially. My parents still are not happy about that one.
No.
They've
But
made
at least you're
strides
not
on the
gay.
gay thing. They've made strides on the gay thing. They haven't really budged on the whole atheist thing.
Wow.
All these years later. Yeah, I mean, that's really rough. I don't know your situation and how that all works.
I mean, it
where
sounds
you're
like-
at and but it's
it-
a violation of trust,
Yeah.
and you have every right to be as outraged as you feel.
And you're going to have to figure out how you work things out with your dad.
Yeah.
That's the first, he's the one that breached the trust, and that sucks.
Yeah.
And then it sounds like you've got a whole other issue with your family. It sounds like family is the big thing.
Yeah.
What I would do is look for people that in the family that you might think are allies, that you think might be nice about it,
Mm-hmm.
and reach out to them and just say, hey, I don't know what to do about the family. Yes, this may be true about me. But I'm worried about this, and just see if you can find some people who can get in your corner.
Yeah. That know the players a little bit more
Yeah.
as well, because it's tough. I think that's actually really sound advice. Obviously, family's been important to the caller, right?
Yeah.
And so I think they'll want to seek out. It sounds like preserving these relationships is really important.
Yeah.
And so I think that's a really good first step, Dan.
And then also, everything's very immediate right now. This was dumped on you, and it feels very immediate. But if you want these relationships to do okay, you're at some point you're going to have to take a longer view of it, because it takes people a while to come around to stuff like this.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're interested in preserving the relationships, go gentle, take the long view, and hope for the best.
And if you're not interested in preserving the relationship,
Just burn it down.
middle finger up.
Change your Facebook profile picture to Satan and just burn it down.
I have a feeling that's not the course to take. But
Well, there you go. The point is you've got options. That's the point.
Yeah.
Well, Frank, we've got a couple people to thank. I'm going to start us off because, and this person wrote us a lovely email. This is a one-time donation from, and this is how this person wants us to refer to them, and I will. A super famous game director of a totally awesome video game series that supports the LGBTQ community, listens to our show, and gave us a one-time donation.
nice.
So thank you, super awesome game director, who has never once called for me to do voice acting work on any of your games. That's fine. I'm not mad. I'm just saying that I am a professional actor with a microphone. Anyway, thank you so much for your one-time donation. And then we have one more person to thank, I believe.
We do indeed, Dan. We have our top donor, our Lord and Savior, Davis.
If you'd like to be like Davis, the coolest guy in the pack, and become magical and have magic priesthood powers, please feel free to become one of our patrons by going to thankgodimatheist.com and clicking on the support tab, and we would really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks so much. There's more show coming up.
All right, Frank.
Oh, Dan?
Here's the thing. We talked earlier about the Georgia Guidestones and about the fact that ding-dongs, believers, people who are... Here's my theory about things. If you asked one of these, religious crusaders what the primary, feeling of being a Christian is, I'm guessing you'd get, comfort or powerful or whatever. But the truth of the matter is that there is no group on earth more run by fear than the extreme religious believer.
Yeah, that's true.
They are terrified. Everything is scary. There is a demon behind every tree, under every stone. They are just, it is a scary world for them.
Yeah, well, satanic panic doesn't work, right? Unless they're just filled with fear.
Always, at all times. And it's getting worse now. Every now and then, just like the satanic panic, they just get really just whipped into a lather about stuff. And they are now. They're foaming currently. And one of the things that they just started foaming about, I don't know if you know this, CERN, the Large Hadron Collider in mostly Switzerland, is they were closed down for a while. They were doing some maintenance and repairs and stuff, and they announced that they would resume their physics tests on July 5th. So just a few days ago.
And we're all still here?
Well, are we though, Frank?
I don't know.
We don't know.
Maybe we're on a different timeline.
Here's the thing. People got freaked about it. Literally, a friend of mine posted a roundup of several different tweets about it. And I'm going to read a few just for our enjoyment. This one is from a person named @CosmicEnergy, who said, on July 5th, we will be feeling a sudden shift in the universe. It will feel like we have changed timelines. Do your research about CERN.
Oh.
If you think things have been weird, it's about to feel even weirder. Protect your energy and at all costs from negative shit. Meditate.
Oh my God. That's what's going to protect you?
Yeah, and here's the thing. I was talking about Christians, but this gets there is some weird Venn diagrams of crossover between Christians and astrology people and woo-woo stuff. There's all this stuff. So Sid Divine, this is @Sid Divine Tarot, as in tarot card reading.
Oh my God.
Who wrote, so nobody else is concerned that the CERN collider will be turning on July 5th and opening up a portal and letting some dark-sided shit come through? Oh my God.
I mean, that does sound concerning.
It sounds terrifying.
I mean, if that is what they're doing, and I guess what? We have reason to believe that is what it is? I mean, right? If you know nothing about what's going on there,
I mean,
it seems suspicious. That's all I'm saying.
They literally named the Higgs boson the God particle, and it wrecked people for life.
They shouldn't have done that.
The name has just ruined everything. Literally, they're just conducting experiment. Although, here's an interesting fact. Fun fact. The hottest place that we've ever known about in the entire universe was in the CERN collider.
And we're still here.
How
is that possible?
It got hotter than any star has ever been.
What? Wouldn't that just melt the planet?
No, because it was this tiny, it was for a fraction of a second, and it was subatomic. It was tiny,
Hmm.
but it was literally
I don't know.
in that moment, it was the hottest place in the universe.
Well, I'm glad they shut that thing down for a while. Maybe they were.
That's-
Did that like trip a breaker somewhere? Like
It probably did. Probably you got to walk around and be like, oh man, so I kick it and see
how many miles around is this thing?
Something's not right.
Where'd they put the breaker?
Yeah, I'll read another
twist
tweet.
fuse.
I just stick a penny in it. It'll be fine. Here's another tweet. Anticipating the activation of CERN got me feeling some type of way. The fuck gives y'all the right to be opening portals and shit? Isn't 2022 crazy enough? Sheesh.
Well, but what if the portal makes it right? That's my thing.
Right? What if it
Why is it
fixes
always the negative? This could be a good thing. If we're off the timeline where Donald Trump is just like controls the media by just, tweeting,
Yeah.
like I would love that.
Oh, how about this one? Can y'all please this is all caps, do not drink on July 4th through the 7th. Frequency will be high.
Oh,
Just
yeah.
chill and pop some fire. This is not a joke. Pay attention. CERN trying to tap in with a God particle. The Hadron Collider open up portals from different dimensions. Black holes too. They plan on doing it on that day because we will drink alcohol as a spirit. So while they do that, our frequency will be high. We are made up of atoms. Our body responds to that frequency. So if you drink, it'll be easier for demons and spirits to enter you. Take your reality to a different level. They did it in 2012 and 2016. Wow. I love how many different weird things came to a point with this. The whole frequency thing, which I don't know. I don't feel like they know what they're talking about when they say frequency. Do you? Do you feel like they actually have a sense of what they're actually saying when they just throw
vibrations. Yeah, no, I get it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no.
Good, you get it.
You're in tune. Everything sort of vibrates at a certain frequency, Dan.
Right.
You don't know this?
But if
This
your
is pretty
frequency,
basic
but apparently
stuff.
if you drink, your frequency is going to be high,
Mhm.
and higher frequency apparently makes you vulnerable to demons.
Well, yeah, they kind of do work on a different plane. The vibrates at a higher frequency. I mean, it all sort of follows and makes sense.
It makes a sense. It would be absurd not to believe that.
Yeah. I mean, I got my goop egg out and I was fine. I was protected from the weird frequencies. Yeah.
I have one of those propeller beanies.
Oh, that's
And
cute.
It spins around and that actually deflects demons off in all of the different directions.
Yeah.
So-
You can change your frequency
by spinning it.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
And then if you spin it the opposite direction, like, so you can ramp that frequency up or sort of dial it back depending on what you need to do.
Mm-hmm, yeah. Yeah. There you go.
Yeah. There you go, everybody. A shift in the universe has it's already happened. It's too late. Whatever was going to happen,
Yeah.
they've already done it.
I wish we could have warned you about it, everyone.
Yeah. We need to stay more on top of these things, Frank.
I don't know how we missed it.
I need to start following a lot more weirdos on Twitter because we're missing all the good stuff.
No
anyway,
kidding.
Enjoy your new universe now, your new timeline. The portal has been opened, so get your demons in line, in order. If you have demons and you need to tell us about it, please feel free to write into us, podcast@thankgodimatheist.com.
Or what did you do to protect yourself from CERN this week?
Yeah.
Call us. The phone number is 424-666-8442.
Yeah, go to the Facebook page, facebook.com/TGIAtheist, and click the like button.
And if you'd like to join one of our members-only lounges, you can do so. Just go to our website, thankgodimatheist.com/members-only.
You know, the real way to protect yourself from demons is just to become a patron of this show, and we will give you the priesthood power, and that will protect you from the demons. That's how you do it. Anyway, thanks so much to Gordon Johnston for the use of his music, and the Red Rock Hot Club for the use of their music. I'm just jumping in with that stuff, I guess. And thanks to all of you for tuning in.
Thanks so much. Bye-bye.
Bye.